He thought the rocky island meant nothing, just a worthless piece of land his family mocked him for keeping. But when his loyal dog began digging, everything changed. What they uncovered hidden beneath that stone shocked the world and left his family in stunned silence. This is that unbelievable story. The small boat rocked gently on the waves as Daniel tightened his grip on the oars. Behind him, his German shepherd, Rex, stood alert, ears pricked, eyes fixed on the jagged island rising from the endless sea. At its peak, a battered old shack leaned against the wind, perched on a massive slab of black stone. To anyone else, it looked like nothing, a forgotten place, a useless rock. But to Daniel, it was everything. Years ago, his late grandfather had left him this peculiar inheritance. While others received money, property, or heirlooms, Daniel got the rock. At the reading of the will, his relatives had smirked, some openly laughing. A rock in the middle of nowhere? That's what you got. His uncle had sneered, shaking his head. From that day forward, the family branded it worthless. Still, Daniel clung to it. He couldn't explain why. Maybe it was the way his grandfather's voice had trembled when he spoke of the place. Maybe it was the dogged loyalty Rex showed every time they approached it. Whatever the reason, Daniel never let go. He endured the mockery, the whispers, and the betrayal, convinced the rock held a secret no one else could see at family gatherings. The rock was never far from their conversations or their ridicule. Daniel would sit quietly at the end of the table, listening as his cousins bragged about their inheritances, houses, jewelry, businesses. Inevitably, someone would smirk and toss the same cutting remark across the room. "So, Daniel, how's your priceless rock doing? Still just sitting there, gathering seagulls?" Laughter followed, loud and merciless. His mother pleaded with him to sell it, saying the money could help mend broken ties. His uncle accused him of clinging to delusions, warning that no one would stand by him forever. The betrayal cut deeper each time. They weren't simply mocking the land. They were mocking him, questioning his worth, treating him like a fool among his own blood. The more they pressed, the more Daniel pulled back. He stopped sharing his thoughts, stopped explaining the strange feeling that the place mattered. Only Rex seemed to understand. The German shepherd never judged, never mocked. Instead, he stayed close, eyes bright, loyalty unshaken. In a world where family had turned cold, the dog's steady presence was the one bond Daniel knew he could still trust. The first time Daniel noticed Rex's strange behavior, they had just anchored near the rock. The sea was calm, but the dog's muscles tensed, hackles raised as though something invisible pulsed beneath the surface. Rex sniffed the air, then bounded toward the jagged shore, claws scraping against the boat in his urgency to leap off. When Daniel finally let him climb onto the rock, Rex's actions grew even stranger. He circled a particular patch near the base, nose pressed against the dark stone, whining softly. Then came the scratching, fierce, determined, as though he knew something was buried deep within. Daniel tried to pull him away, but Rex resisted, barking at the stone like it was alive. Back home, Daniel shared what happened, hoping someone might take him seriously. Instead, the family erupted in laughter. "Your mutt's chasing ghosts," his cousin scoffed. "Dogs don't sniff out miracles, Daniel. They sniff trash." Their mockery stung, but deep down, Daniel couldn't ignore what he had seen. Rex wasn't playing or acting restless. He was searching. The dog had sensed something Daniel couldn't explain, but could no longer deny. The night the storm rolled in, Daniel had planned to stay home. But Rex wouldn't allow it. The dog paced endlessly by the door, barking and growling as if warning of something unseen. Rain hammered against the windows, and thunder cracked across the sky. Yet Rex's insistence only grew stronger. Finally, unable to bear the dog's desperation, Daniel gave in. He threw on his jacket, grabbed the lantern, and followed Rex to the shoreline. Waves crashed violently against the rocks, spraying cold salt water into his face. The boat rocked dangerously as he pushed away from shore, heart pounding, dog by his side, eyes glowing with urgency in the storm's flickering light. When they reached the island, Rex leapt onto the wet stone before Daniel could even secure the rope. Lightning illuminated the jagged cliffs, and there, just as before, the dog tore toward the base of the rock. But this time, his howls were louder, sharper, filled with something more than curiosity. It was desperation. Whatever secret the rock held, Rex was demanding it be found. Tonight, Daniel's lantern flickered wildly as the storm's wind whipped around him. Rex clawed furiously at the stone, his paws striking sparks against the slick surface. Then, with a sudden yelp, the dog's claws scraped something different, not rough rock, but metal. Daniel dropped to his knees, brushing away layers of sand and grit. His hands trembled when he felt it too. Cold, smooth, deliberate. The harder they cleared, the more it revealed itself. A strange pattern etched into the stone, almost like an ancient carving, formed beneath the lantern's light. At its center, the faint outline of a sealed plate glimmered. Daniel's heart raced. This wasn't random. Someone had placed it here. His family's laughter echoed in his memory. Worthless rock, worthless life. Yet here, hidden beneath their scorn, was proof of something greater. Rex barked sharply, then shoved his nose against a small crack near the edge. Daniel wedged his fingers inside and pulled with all his strength. The storm roared around them as the plate gave way, creaking open to reveal a hollow space beneath. Daniel leaned closer, light trembling in his hand. What he saw inside left him speechless. Inside the hollow lay a weathered chest, its iron edges rusted but still unbroken. Daniel's breath caught as he brushed away the grime. He hesitated, then forced it open. The lantern's glow spilled across objects wrapped in oilskin, bundles of yellowed papers, strange coins, and a glint of something metallic that shimmered even through the storm's fury. The documents, though fragile, bore official seals and faded signatures. One look told Daniel this was no ordinary stash. These were land deeds, old maps, and letters referencing shipments and wealth, records his grandfather had guarded, perhaps even hidden from the world. At the bottom lay bars of silver, tarnished but undeniable, their weight solid in his trembling hands. Rex barked again, as though proud of his find. Daniel's mind spun. For years he had been mocked, branded a fool for clinging to a worthless rock. Yet here was proof his grandfather's gift carried unimaginable value. Historic, financial, perhaps even legendary. When word reached the mainland, experts were summoned. Their verdict was clear. The discovery wasn't just valuable, it was extraordinary. And as Daniel listened, one thought consumed him. His family had betrayed him, but Rex had never wavered. News of the discovery spread quickly, and soon Daniel's once mocking relatives filled his doorstep. Their eyes, once cold with disdain, now sparkled with greed. They praised him suddenly, voices dripping with false warmth. "We always knew you'd find something," one cousin insisted. His uncle clapped his back too hard, whispering, "Family shares everything, Daniel. You'll remember that, won't you?" But Daniel saw through them. Where were they when he sat alone, ridiculed? Where were they when he clung to hope with only Rex by his side? Their smiles were masks, their affection a performance scripted by fortune. And as they crowded closer, Rex growled low, stepping protectively in front of his master, eyes blazing with defiance. The dog's loyalty was pure, unshaken, untouchable. In Rex's steady stance, Daniel saw the truth his family had long forgotten. Trust is earned, not bought. Riches could vanish, but loyalty, real loyalty, was priceless. For the first time, Daniel wasn't tempted by their words. He looked at Rex and knew where his true family stood. As the experts finalized their reports, Daniel stood quietly on the cliff above the sea, Rex sitting proudly at his side. The storm had long passed, yet the memory of that night still pulsed in his chest. He thought of the jeers, the years of betrayal, and the sudden shift when fortune was revealed. None of it mattered now that he knelt beside Rex, running a hand through the dog's damp fur. "It wasn't the rock that saved me," he whispered, voice heavy with gratitude. "It was you." Rex's tail thumped softly against the ground, his amber eyes never leaving his master's face. Later, as the family squabbled over shares they would never touch, Daniel turned away. He had already chosen. The treasure wasn't silver or gold, it was loyalty. And in Rex, he had found a fortune no betrayal could ever steal.